So thank you, colleagues. I'm not too sure who are online, but every lady and gentleman on board, the National TV Program Managers Representative, TV Voice, the other CSO colleagues online, and I'm trying to look through the list, but I'm not finding anything that I know, any name that I know. But Garnet, Coalition of NGOs in Health, NAPLAS Ghana, and all the other colleagues, thank you all for honoring our invitation. Today is for a simple meeting. Sorry, the media, TV3 and GH1 TV, our permanent partners in the media advocacy on TV. We welcome all of you to today's meeting. We have worked with you last year on placing TV on a high political agenda up to some extent. And today is another day to start discussions on lineup on activities that we have for this year in terms of placing TV on the high political agenda. I just have a few words to share with us and to say as a welcome information. I think it's important for us to know where the Stockton Partnership is coming from today. And so I salute the founding fathers of the Stockton Partnership. I salute Dr. Bonsu, Dr. Diher, and Chief Austin, who is currently the Global Vice Chair of the Stockton Partnership. Hope to have him here soon to make a statement. Just to say that we are happy that today is another day as we struggle to put TV on the high political agenda in the country and to call for more resources and to ensure that we galvanize communities towards finding the missing TV cases in Ghana. It is just important to recognize those who founded the Stockton Partnership. And so I think it's worth mentioning them. But particularly having beside me also a former board member, Honorable Alfred Chibu, is very refreshing. Honorable, you're welcome. Stockton Partnership Board, for those who do not know, is made up of the public sector. The National TV Program is made up of the academia, represented by School of Public Health, University of Ghana, Legon, and then a lot more of civil society organizations. And then we have a private sector representation on our board, and that tells you the nature of the Stockton Partnership. We are a partnership involving private sector, public sector, and civil society actors. There are also individuals, and for that matter, the media, who also have become our partners in this agenda. We recognize all of you in the quest to ensure that we have a sustained advocacy in this country. I must recognize my right hand brother, Jerry Amwalabu, who has been the voice of persons who have treated TB in Ghana and who are actually a force that is ensuring that we work towards stigma reduction, especially among persons who are found TB positive across this length and breadth of this country. And it is important for us to know that the founding fathers had their vision And if I remember very well, the vision of the Founding Fathers is to see the partnership grow to such a high umbrella of an organization that has the capacity to receive funds from donors, and especially positioning it to become a principal recipient of the Global Fund in terms of the work of civil society to support the national TV program in eradicating TB from Ghana by 2030. And that, I want to congratulate the national TV program for how far they brought the Stop TB Partnership by housing it even under the office of the national TV program for so many years, and tried assiduously to build capacity of the partnership through employment of staff, and then also having funding arrangement with them where the Stop TB Partnership was receiving the grants and disbursing them to the implementing partners of the Stop TB Partnership, who are particularly community-based NGOs working across the country. Maybe it is important for us to recognize the role Dr. Bonsu, the former program manager, played in bringing the Stop TB Partnership to where it was or it is now. It's good to also say that the NTP had played that role until 2019, where by the new funding model 2 of the Global Fund, we were given capacity to be able to go away from the office of the of the National TV Program, which means that we're becoming bigger and better capacitated to be able to provide our community-based TB screening, to funding the missing TB cases across, especially the hard-to-reach communities in the country. It's important to mention that the Stop TB Partnership has, over the years, been able to work with almost, in fact, in 2006, right, 2006, the program NTP was able to enroll on board 126 NGOs, and that continued until funding dwindled, and then it became around 40, 45, 46 NGOs along the new funding model 2, and then going into the new funding model 3 of the Global Fund, we were able to increase the numbers again to, in fact, it was 90 by the end of 2020, and then beginning 2021 in the new funding model 3, it became 97 NGOs who are implementing partners across more than 100 districts in the country. Today, we mention all these things so that those who do not know maybe where we are coming from can just have a brief idea of where we are coming from and where we are. Maybe it is important to also mention that the performance of the Stop TB Partnership over the years have indeed doubled in terms of finding the TB cases. As the numbers of implementing partners doubled, the effort of finding the missing cases also doubled. And so it is worth refreshing in the minds of our media and colleagues that the Stop TB Partnership has a lot of NGOs that are working under it, who are in the various regions and in the various districts across the country and working. I think we have reached a stage where the Stop TB Partnership working in NFM3 had to go into a different funding arrangement that gives the NGOs direct funding rather from the principal recipient of the Global Fund and not through the partnership. And that calls for a rethink of the leadership of the partnership to ensure that going into 2024 and onwards, we are able to turn the tables around to make sure that vision of making sure the capacity of the partnership is built through funding mechanisms that expand our scope and capacity of becoming maybe, a principal recipient as projected by the founding members is achieved. So going to NFM4, we will probably call on all our colleagues who are into the TV space to ensure that we come together as a team to see how we work together and form a consortium that takes us to that goal of ensuring that we cover the space of becoming the principal recipient of the Global Fund together going forward. Today's meeting is simple. It's to make sure that we understand what we want to do as an advocacy this year in placing TV on the high political agenda. The Stop TV Partnership Geneva is the one that has given us a grant. The Stop TV Partnership Geneva is an organization that has been formed as a global movement of partners of TV. And so we have the head office in Geneva with varied partners across the globe, especially in Africa. And so Ghana happens to be one of the beneficiaries of the global movement of putting TV on a high political agenda. So we are grateful to the Stop TV Partnership Global, particularly grateful to Chief Austin, who is the work machine, because at the Stop TV Partnership, the vice chairman of the Stop TV Partnership is actually the head. We are thankful to the President of India, the Prime Minister of India, who is also the board chairman of the Stop TV Partnership in Geneva, who is playing his executive role and playing his highest advocacy at the highest levels that bring to us resources at the country levels. And to also say thank you to USAID. USAID has been at the forefront of financing all community projects of the Stop TV Partnership from Geneva. And so we are grateful to them also as a partner. Having said this, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for coming to listen to the activities lineup that we have. We thank the NTP. They will give us a presentation for us to understand the gap we have. We will give the opportunity to our CSO colleagues to also make some statements so we are all together on the table. This is a project that needs all of us. In fact, it is not for Stop TV Partnership Secretariat to implement. It is for all the stakeholders to come together and see how we can make it successful. And that is why I'm always happy when the TV Boys, the CCM, and all other networks are present to ensure that we see these projects very successful. NTP, thank you so much for coming. TV Boys, my colleagues, Mr. Gomaro, the current board member of the Stop TV Partnership, thank you all for coming. Let's have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Board Chairman.
Oh, okay. So, Suhe is online.
Yes.
Okay, let me introduce her.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I can see our partner representation, a representative of the executive director of the Stop TV Partnership in Geneva online. Mrs. Suhe Talab is online, and she is actually the coordinator of all the platform projects and the Stop TV Partnership Geneva, and I know she should be running more than 33, 34 countries now. I'm sure she herself will be able to speak to us. So I will introduce her to us. Let's connect her with the microphone so that she can give us some 10 minutes introductory message from the Office of the Stop TB Partnership all the way from Geneva. Mrs. Suhail Talab, I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, David, yes, I can hear you clearly.
We are most grateful to have you. You informed me that you may not be available. I was happy to see your face appearing on the screen, and so I knew you were the one. Thank you for coming, and over to you to give us your word of support and message from Geneva. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's afternoon in Ghana. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for inviting me to join this meeting today. And I'm sorry if I'm late. I had 2 meetings prior to this one, and so apologies for the delay or for being late for this meeting. Just a few words about me and the role I am doing here. Like rightly mentioned and said by David, that I'm managing the Stop TB Partnership country platforms in 30 countries. Currently 18 are active and 2 more to join very soon. Since 2019, actually, Stop TB Partnership has been giving grants, small or medium-sized grants to different countries. And the aim is to strengthen TB prevention and care through a multi-sectoral approach. Of course, involving the national TB program, involving all the partners to fight against TB and TB, if we can. We use the multi-sectoral approach because we want this collaborative approach, because we know that TB cannot be ended with one voice. We want all the voices possible in every country to fight this important cause. Ghana is one of the countries that are very close to our heart here in Stop TB Partnership. David and team has been doing really a great job, and so far there have been so many breakthroughs that are done through them, through this small grant that we're providing them. They have been doing a lot, and that's why we decided to actually continue this partnership with them. Last month we signed a new grant with them as an acknowledgement for an appreciation for the work that they have been doing and for the continuation also to fight against TB. Ahead of us is the World TB Day. I know there is a plan for that, and we hope from Stop TB Partnership here, the Executive Director is very keen in seeing all the partners in countries to come together on that day, to deliver as one, to make the noise that is required for the global partners and for the UN leaders and for everybody involved to get their attention about the importance of ending this pandemic as soon as possible or by 2030. So I hope that collaboration is being planned on that day within in-country partners, including our CSOs partners, including Stop TB Partnership in Ghana and the National TB Program also. So I will end here, and if you have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Talab, for that wonderful message to all of us. Questions? All right. So we'll now take some remarks. We're supposed to have Dr. Dusipoku in our midst this morning, but I understand he couldn't make it, and we have a representative from the NTP here in our midst. So I would like to give the opportunity to Mr. Mango Day to make a few comments on behalf of the Dr. Disco.
Thank you so much. And good morning to all of us once again. It's a privilege. Okay, all right.
Let me just interrupt a little bit. We have in our midst the Vice Chairman of the Stop TB Partnership in Geneva, in the person of, should I say, His Majesty, or the word chief will be sufficient. is an ordained chief also, so we are careful how to mention it. And that is exactly what I meant. So we have Chief Austin Obiefuna, the Vice Chairman of the Board of the Stop TB Partnership in our midst. I think it's the most beautiful privilege we can have. Let's give him an applause. It's because Suher is online, she just gave her, and I think it's important for me to introduce you so she will know that we are privileged to have our global vice chairman in the community at the country level, Ghana. And so let's give him another hand. He will be having his time to speak to us. And so let me not belabor the point, he just arrived, so let him rest more. And then when NTP is done, he will come in. Am I right?
We need to collaborate with key people like you gathered here so that we can really achieve our target. So all that we want to say is that it's a very, very good platform that we all come together, we put our efforts, and we put our intellect, all that we have, we put it together to make so much noise, if I may put it that way, on TV, so that we can get the necessary support and achieve the targets that we have set for ourselves as a country. Thank you so much for the opportunity and the privilege.
We also know that there are various issues that we need to deal with as the CSO community. The issue of government counterpart funding is one that has been on the table for a very long time, and we need to deal with that. And that's because we need resources to be able to fight these three diseases. We are always grateful to our partners, our development partners, for all the resources they make available to us. But in country, we have also got to make serious efforts at getting the funds that can help us to end the three diseases by 2030. We at the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network are very happy to be associated with today's meeting. And this is because we know of the relationship between HIV and tuberculosis. The two almost always go together by way of co-infection. So whatever affects TB patients is of great interest to us. The same way we know that whatever affects HIV patients is also of interest to our TB community. So this morning, I'm here on behalf of the entire Ghanaians to throw our weight behind this exercise by Stop TB Partnership Ghana to put the issue of TB on a very high pedestal so far as our country is concerned. We need our leaders to show interest in these diseases. We need our leaders to make statements. We need our leaders to make commitments. We need our parliament especially, we need our ministers, we need our presidents to make very firm commitments towards supporting the elimination of these three diseases from our space. So, wholeheartedly and unreservedly, we support this action by Stop TB Partnership. Any other assistance that you may need from us, please let us know. If we have to be on the streets, if we have to picket, if we have to do anything and you need our members, we are always ready to make our members available to you. If we have to join you to go to Parliament, we will go. If we have to go to the presidency, we will go. If we have to hold press conferences like this, we are ever ready to give you all the support. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Otin. So we'll take a message from a rep from the Coalition of NGOs in Malaria in the person of Mr. Jonathan Kwao. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you very much. So I'm Jonathan Kwao, the President of Ghana Coalition of NGOs in the Greater Accra region. For the effort they have made through this proposal writing, they were able to implement phase 1, as the lady clearly said, and phase 2 has come. Because if you've not performed during phase 1, no donor will continue with you in phase 2. So this clearly shows the capacity of our networks. That is being demonstrated outside there, but sometimes in country, there is that perception that we don't have the capacity. But this shows a clear capacity, and I'm very happy with the coalition and also all the key partners who are here. And as our Vice President of the CCM said, Ernest said, we are also a network, and TB affects each and every one. It doesn't know who is from Malaria Coalition, who is from TB Coalition, or who is a Ghanaian or non-Ghanaian. So we are also ready to make sure that we rally behind the network to make sure that we also see to it that this project is successfully implemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are glad to be part of Stop TB partnership. I think together and the National TV program, we have worked together for some time now. We're hoping that this collaboration will continue at the higher level. Hoping that even at the UN high-level meeting, we're looking at probably making sure the TB program manager and the teams that are on TV, I think in terms of politically high on TV, should be part of this UN high-level meeting that is supposed to take place in September. This is a year that we are saying that yes, we can end TB. We're calling on all our partners, including the media, to take a key interest in TB. Because as we speak, by the end of this program, at least 4 people will die out of TB in Ghana. That tells you how serious the disease is. But we've not been able to place it high at the media. So we also call on the media to partner with us, the Stop TB Partnership Ghana, TB Voice Network, to drive the attention of TB so that our leaders will know that the TB disease, we are fighting, making sure that we are ending TB by 2030. If we don't tell them the story and tell them how we need to fund the program, as we speak, the program yearly needs more than $20 million to be able to make sure that they are taking care of our people. But the resources available to them is nothing to write home about. So we're taking this opportunity to make sure that the government and the leaders, especially our parliamentarians, to take note that we need to come together and make sure we end TB by 2030. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Amwa Labi from TB Voice Network.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First of all, let me thank the NTP, the National TV Program, for their presence here. It shows a lot of strong collaboration and also confidence that the National TV program has got in the partnership to be associated with all their programs. And this draws a lot of synergy in terms of collaboration because, you know, when the NTP was speaking, he said they have problems. I mean, pointing to the fact that they are agreeing to the fact that they have problems shows that they need support. And your support is actually one of these, what is happening now is one of that support that we essentially want, when we are building this top TV partnership, essentially what we wanted to see. Bringing in more resources. When we talk about resources, don't only always focus on big money. It's not only money. There are a lot of resources you can also bring in. Human resource, capacity building, a lot of innovation also coming from different partners outside there. It could come from the partnership and being adopted through the MTP. It could also come from the TV voice network or any of these networks that we have. And the good thing is this, the essence and the advantage of having networks or partnerships like this is that with a single voice, it may be very difficult for you to be able to achieve what, you know, your targets, like what Nelson Mandela says. He said if you want to go fast, you should go alone. But if you want to go far, you should go together. You know, I remember the time of the political campaign here. The Kaya people that you see, usually, I mean, nobody will go to them to speak to them, you know. But they got organized. They have Kaya Association of something that I've forgotten the nomenclature. But they have that association, and which made the president to actually go to them, you know, and talk to them, listen to them, know their problem, and not even actually start with them to address some of their issues. So if you are involved, you are together, it means you draw a lot of attention. I heard Martin saying that there is support of what is happening. I want to tell you something. You know, when we talk about this integration, you know, we used to talk about integration, TBHIV integration and all this integration. Integration started from the civil society, the NGOs. That is where integration started. And that's where we should be drawing our lessons from in terms of the group processes coming from integration. Because it's the same one single NGO that does malaria, does TB, and does HIV. But probably, in terms of connecting these dots, to make sure that we use the same resources, maybe the available little resources that we have to maximize that effort. Maybe what is missing. Or probably the way we are also reporting it is what is missing. Because when it comes to integration, I can tell you that NGOs are the forefront of that integration aspect. When it comes to the program, integration is like, okay, yes, we are integrated, but we are not really integrated. So let's always hold that, you know, to ourselves to make sure that we do not create silos. We should work together when it comes to even proposal development in terms of the LFM4. We should all work together. We all have similar, issues where we even tend to disagree. We will disagree nicely and also agree in principle. And that is how we work together. Now, today, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the news about the HLM. That letter that we all signed on to, because I saw a lot of people, it has worked. So we are having our HLM on the 22nd of September. So the same way that I want us to also be organized in terms of doing a bottom-up approach, in terms of the issues, consultations. During our civil society hearing, which will be named as a multi-sectorial hearing, not just civil society, let's try as much as possible to organize ourselves from the country level and make sure that the issues are being elevated and escalated and up there. I'm sure a lot of you will be there, at that meeting, because we are trying to make sure that we will create avenues to make sure everybody, attend not only the civil society hearing, but also the high-level meeting itself. Not just coming there, but also make your mark. You see, and as Martin was talking about, we need to push our political leaders to do more. The only way we can be able to do that, the only way we can be able to do that is we need to monitor the proceedings. We're not just going to New York to go and walk around the street of New York because it's beautiful. We know that New York is nice, it's beautiful. You still have your time to be able to do that. But let's make sure that we monitor our heads of states when they speak. When they speak, those words that come out of their mouth is what you're supposed to use to hold them accountable. We don't do that. We just go, we walk around and everything. What did the head of state say? He didn't even know. Because our girls speak. Akufo spoke also at the last high-level meeting. You know? So let's try as much as possible to understand how this advocacy works. It's not just wearing beautiful t-shirts, you know, throwing nice slogans, but you need to be actively part of, to be part of that process. So I will end here, but I will come back to do the deadly divide. So the civil society perspective, as we talk about this deadly divide, but we are focusing on the commitments from the heads of states and also the reality on the ground. We all know the reality because we work at the lowest level, at the community level. We know the reality. All the languages that you see on paper sometimes does not conform with what we see on the ground. So we report it, we are meant to report what's happening on the ground. And that is what you see from the daily divide. Do you have a clicker or you can just go to the notes? Yeah, so like I said when I was starting, I said it gives a voice to those most affected directly by TV. And this is the first time we're seeing a report coming from communities and civil society working in TV. We usually see a lot of huge capacity in HIV. You see a lot of reports coming out. So this is the first time, and it came hugely to the fact that it was not just seen as a civil society report now, because we had both researchers, academia, even people from the public sector contributing into the report. And we had over 160 organizations in this report. For the present one, 2.0, I can tell you we have over 1,500 people responding to the questionnaire, and also people who were interviewed. So it's going to be huge in terms of the 2.0 we're expecting to see. It's not yet ready, so I cannot let the cat out of the bag. So, can you go to the next slide? So, this first one came at the backdrop that we had a UN Secretary General report. Now we don't have it. We don't have any report coming from UN Secretary General. But we have this report, the 1.0. So the question is, where are we with this 1.0? I know the Stockton Partnership the Stockton Partnership Ghana tried as much as possible to adapt it at the country level, implement some of the parts at the country level. But this time I think we need to do it systematically. We need to have a very good approach to do so that we can actually follow and target, follow the targets and also know where we are in terms of the achievements. So that at the end of the day, because now we are doing case studies. The case studies we are doing now, we're not supposed to have, to engage deeply into it if we had those reporting formats in terms of the systematic way of doing this. If we had it, it would have been easy just to say, oh, this is what the country did, this is what the country did. So probably a platform to report, some of those key activities in terms of, because I always tell people, why do you always use unhappy faces when you are talking about TV? Yes, but because at this moment, we've done a lot. We've done a lot, so we need to also be seeing happy faces, to show that, yes, we can do it if you provide the resources. You understand? Because we have the capacity. It's not about building capacity anymore. It's about providing the resources to the national TV program. It's about providing resources to the civil society, the partners, to be able to achieve, in every 4 or 5 years. You see the national TV program bringing partners together. This NSP. Our NSP are costed. We have never reached even 25% of funding that NSP. And we expect the program to achieve 100% of what is targeted in the NSP. But that is impossible. So that is the reason why we need to work together. We need to work together. we need to get the VAT, the issues from the National TV program, and project it out there. Because you are doing it for the good of the citizen, not just for yourself, not just for the program. The program is not going to pocket the money in their pocket. The program is actually trying to provide services to the people. So, but I want to focus on the areas for action. These 6 key areas for action. How many of you knew about these 6 key areas for action? Then you didn't participate in the Stop TV Partnership Ghana Daily Divide rollout, because I know we had a program on that, and I even joined online on it. And we spoke about these 6 key areas of action. Because the reason why I'm projecting it is that essentially there's nothing going to change from the 2.0, because we didn't even achieve anything much out of this place. But the countries that were able to receive more resources, you can see that they did more. They achieved more. And some of them achieved those resources through other sources, throughout most likely donors. Global Fund, Stop TV Partnership, USAID. So they used it to target those interventions, and they achieved. So why can't we showcase that, yes, we are, that's why the World TB Day for 2023, this year the team says, yes, we can. Because we can. We can do it. But we don't have the resources. We can't kill ourselves. COVID came. In less than 2 years, we had COVID vaccine. We've been speaking about vaccine, TB vaccine for several years now. The one we have for BCG is like over 100 years. And the efficacy, I don't even want to discuss that here. So that will tell you that TB is being neglected. Why? Because we don't have the voice. The voice is limited. We are not speaking the language that the people want to hear. So probably we need to change the way we do things if we want to have results, different results, than having the same result that we have all the time. So these are the areas of action. You know that, you remember that the 2018 high-level meeting, what was missing in the key asks when it comes to the declaration was number 5, the accountability piece. The member states refused to be held accountable. They said that that piece needs to be reworked. And they have to, when they say something has to be reworked, means that take it out, we'll come back to it. So, reworking it, they now handed it over to WHO. That's where we have this multi-sectoral accountability framework that is being moved around. But again, now, the civil society and the communities have even moved further to have one impact, an accountability framework. So we are saying that, in as much as we know you are still struggling with the accountability framework, we have something that can actually be replicated, and it could work in terms of that accountability. It's not as if you are coming to help the president and say, where is the money? I will not have money in your pocket. No. Make provision. Speak to your parliament. These things need to be institutionalized. It's not an ad hoc something that you need to every time you probably just say, I'm giving this. We have parliamentarians who are now eager to engage. They will tell you that, oh, the problem is from the executive. So now let's be that connection. Let's be that nexus that brings them together. To say, you know what, the finance minister is here. The parliamentarian, the head of the parliamentary select committee on that is here. What is the gap? What is the problem? What is the challenge? What do you want us to do in terms of making sure that we promote more resources to TB, not just only to TB, but even to health. Let's talk about even the Abuja 15% declaration on health. How many countries in Africa? There's only 2. So these are a lot of advocacy areas that we want to push for. There's no resources, there's no money. I know that a lot of you, when you receive your small grant, they expect you to do, maybe if you're receiving, let's say for instance, 5,000 cedis. Well, you're expected to do about 50,000 cedis. So it doesn't make sense. And if you also move ahead to be reporting 50,000 cedi work, it means that you don't need that, what you need is that 5,000. You understand? So it's a lot of discussion around it. But I think you need a lot of capacity. when I mean capacity is to speak when you have to speak. Because you are working with a lot of staff. You are working with computers that could depreciate. Not that it will depreciate, not that it could depreciate at a time that need to be changed. So some of these things, we're not talking about just giving specialized funding at this time. We're talking about giving funding that will also cover institutional capacity building. And it should be extended not only to the big network, to the various organizations that work with them, because they're also there to sustain the work that the partnership is doing. So reaching all people through TB detection, diagnostic, treatment, care, and prevention. When this language, when you see it, it looks like a repeated language that is being used all the time, but there's a lot of sub-titles around it, which talks about quality. In as much as we are talking about affordable this thing, but quality, we cannot compromise quality. So that quality is very important. And that's why we need to also focus on doing a lot of advocacy around medicine, drugs, so that patients who should have the right to demand the type of treatment they should be given. And again, some countries are now procuring TB medicines that are not actually pre-qualified by WHO. And that could actually create a lot of resistance because they are not, we don't understand the efficacy, it is not well covered. So these are certain things we should be monitoring. We'll focus on pushing for strong advocacy so that medicines come from pre-qualified, in as much as the country may have money to procure their own medicine. It's not coming from the global fund, or any other donor resources. But let them procure quality medicine. The diagnostics should be quality because if you do an inventory of diagnostics around the world, you can see that a lot of people in this part of the world, Africa here, so they are still using microscopy, 70 years ago. Yes. And you are expecting to find the missing people. How would you find that? So people did their prevalence survey. They used very sensitive to do their prevalence survey. After the prevalence survey, they rolled back again to their usual microscopy. Where will you get that? So we are pushing that we want quality diagnostics, quality treatment. Because if you, let's say for instance, that if I have got multiple districts and I'm infecting you as a first person, if I've never had TB before, you're also going to get multiple resistance. So what we're saying is that if you have good diagnostics, you should be able to find all those things on time before even it happens. Because we know that people are actually moving. We even have people who are actually on a waiting list for treatment. We used to have all that. You can imagine what will be happening with them. So these are areas we need to push so much. Prevention is also very important, and prevention is actually, my own prevention is focusing on vaccine. If you look at the global plan to end TB 2023 to 2030, if you look at the huge budget from 2025 to 2030, it's mainly on vaccine. And even at the moment, we don't see any vaccine, we don't see any government, any donor, willing to push for this vaccine like the way they did with COVID. So we need to also speak about it. It's not just has to be a good book, something nicely written in the book, but never implemented. So that prevention is very, very key. And that's why now we're even having a key and vulnerable population seat on the board of the public partnership. The call will go out now for board member to fill up that seat. I think two seats. So making the TB response right-based, equitable, stigma-free, and with communities at the center. And that's why you see, when I started, I commended the NTP. Even with all the challenges surrounding the whole process, but Ghana happens to be the first country to undertake the TB stigma assessments. And we want to champion it because although South Africa have done this now, but it's something that we need to champion because It's not just having their TB assessment, but to have an action plan, a cluster action plan that needs to be implemented. How do we also monitor whether our NGOs who are implementing, they are taking into account in terms of the recommendations coming from that TBS? Because if we are able to monitor, we can use that even abstract at the union conference, we can use that as basis to even to get more resources in terms of addressing stigma in the country. You know, but we need to monitor how these NGOs are actually taking into context the recommendations coming out. Yes. So, you see because all these areas I'm mentioning, we didn't do so much in terms of at the country level. I know that at the global level, the Stop the Partnership did a lot in terms of bringing out CRBG assessment, even making it more comprehensive in terms of bringing it together. It's no longer consolidating both the legal assessment, environment, all those languages, but now have it as one. The community's rights agenda as one assessment. So it makes it more easy that you can easily, pull and ask. African Coalition, we have something that is a kind of guide that can help you in terms of providing the CRG assessment. Welcome, sister. The area 3, accelerating the development of and access to essential new tools to NTB. Because we need new tools. We need new tools, But in as much as we need new tools, have we been able to use the ones that are in the system? So that's why I said, let's be strong. NGOs who are even working at the periphery, at local level, let them give them some tasks as well as they are working. What is happening? That's why you have this one impact that you're implementing. They can use it to report some of these things. You put it together as your advocacy activity, And most important is that as you are doing this advocacy, work with the program. And that's why you have a program as part of your board member. Let them give you the necessary guide. The National Youth Program cannot do advocacy against government. Before you even finish speaking, they will announce your retirement and not resigning, your retiring directly. So we don't want you to engage in that, but give us the fact, give us we are willing to be able to protect that. So the four is investing for necessary to NTB. I mean, somebody will always tell you that it's not about money, but it's not about money. Without money, you can't do much. And that's why we had that TV campaign, pushing global fund to make the allocation equitable. We are saying make it equitable. We are not saying take money from anybody. Don't take money from HIV, don't take money from malaria, but make the allocation split equitable. So an equitable will be 33%, isn't it? Yes. And if you look at, these decisions, but these decisions are not made based on the disease burden. They are not made based on the mortality. They are made based on political issues. So that's why we don't play politics. NGOs, communities, we don't play politics with our lives. Our health is very important. What we want is, let's work with what the data says. Because it's the same global fund that says evidence-based. So let's work with what the data says. But I'm happy to announce that in terms of the CRG, the Strategic Initiative Department, they are making sure that they are doing all their allocations to be equitable. Even some of them are even going above 33%. So at least the acceptance that TB is a problem. So that is essentially good. But we need to do more. We need to push. We cannot relent because HIV, we know how they are. We know that you guys are very strong. Okay, it's busy. We know that HIV community are very strong, formidable. So that's why we need you to also help, so that we all grow together.
Exactly. So.
Exactly. So the action 5 is where the area 5 is where I'm talking about in terms of the accountability framework. We need to push again. We need to push because if we're able to have a framework, a mechanism that we can be able to use to hold our heads of state accountable, I'm sure they will be a little bit careful in terms of how they treat their pledge. Because we're not saying they should run away from pledge, let them pledge, but let them treat it with urgency. Yes, thank you.
Please, let's do it for him once again. Thank you so much, Your Majesty. I think whenever I meet Chief outside, I have to lie down, like how the Yorubas greet. They prostrate, yes. Yes, we just lie down and they greet beautifully. Thank you so much, Chief.
But Chief, thank you so much. I know you are not going yet. We'll come back and finish the discussion before.
Partnership board, and he has all the information, and he has told us. I think one important thing that we have to do as a country is to come together and work together and be very visible at the UN. Because countries are strategizing, countries are planning, countries are working together, countries are really putting a lot of plans together. Because when we go to the UN, we are representing Ghana. We are not representing ourselves. Important thing we have to do is to ensure that our politicians, at least the MPs and the president or the vice, participate. Because the last UN, the first one they had in 2018, I think the president was there. We didn't take them on after the meeting. Now, this meeting that we are going in September, I saw it online, that is 22nd September. We need to have, I think we can also plan and have our side events. It's very important. We showcase our work, we showcase our data, we showcase our achievement as a country. Because Ghana has to be very visible. I know Nigeria is planning very seriously. And so that we also have the TB burden, we also need those resources and ensure that we showcase and we eliminate TB, because we still have a lot of people dying of TB. And now that we are planning for the GC7, the Grand Cycle 7, we have to make sure that TB is very visible on the ground. Those of you who are on CCM, some of us will add our voices. Make sure that TB, they are not going to allocate the money. We need to make a lot of cases, very strong case why TB should be well resourced and put more money there, irrespective of what the Global Fund has allocated to Ghana. The CCM has every right to reapportion or replan or reallocate those resources. And it's important because if you look at the number of civil society organizations that are implementing TB, they are quite many. And if TB is giving over 96 local NGOs resources, that means that they should have more resources. And so we need to talk about it. The fertility funding is not much. And a lot of, because we have not been able to mobilize the 18 billion that the Global Fund has planned, we are very short of that money. The little that we have, we need to just showcase what we are doing. Now on the UN high-level meeting that we are planning for September, I know all the partners will be going together. Chief, it will be good for us to have a meeting, to plan, come up with our presentation. We partner other African countries who are doing side events. We can't do it in silo. So all our presentation, our posters will show Ghana, but we have to present it and partner. If we are partnering Kenya, if we are partnering Nigeria, we are all from West Africa. If we are partnering anybody, let's come together and also make ourselves very visible. There are a lot of advocacy moments that we need to really use. Our resources that we have, let's make sure that we get the right MPs that will talk for us when they go. We have to ensure that the president or the vice president participates. It's very important. And then we can also come out with our statements. I don't know who will be writing. I'm sure NTP will be writing statements in case the president will go. You usually do that. We want to put our statement also into it as civil society organizations. And we really expect the NTP to coordinate us, because now working with civil society and communities is the way to do it. Government and donors are now looking at resources for civil society and communities. And so when we have a very strong partnership and the resources come together, we can really achieve what the national strategic plan wants to achieve. And that is what I want to say. The important thing is that let's work together. This is not the time to fight. This is not the time to point fingers. We have done that too long, and I'm telling you that we are losing. Ghana civil society, people don't have that trust in us. Let people know that things have changed. We are in a different world. We are in different positions, and we want to move the way South Africa, East Africa, Nigeria, everywhere is moving instead of fighting. I think that is what I want to share with you. Let us work together. Let us open up. Let us share ideas together and move forward as a country. So that when you are saying something, I'm saying it, Chief is saying it, then everybody is saying it. We will get the resources to Ghana so that we can work. Civil society will benefit. Because we are in, nobody can achieve, no country can achieve very good results without civil society. I'm telling you, countries that are making it have put premium on civil society implementation and interventions. And that is what we have to fight for as CSOs. The Global Fund is so much interested in civil society work. The new funding, the new strategic plan is putting communities and CSOs at the center of grant implementation. People-centered implementation. So if they say people-centered, it's not just implementing intervention. That means that you must really be part of it. You must be on the table. You must add your voice. Please, one thing I realize we fear is, we fear to speak the truth, we fear to talk. Can we come together as civil society? Raise the issue if we know that it's not going to work, it's not going to benefit civil society, it's not going to benefit communities. Let's talk to it and make sure that we achieve the goal. A lot is going on. NTP is the coordinating body. NTP is on the Stop TB Partnership Board. We want to see more leadership of NTP bringing us together. We want to see that, and it's very important. And we want to see you as the way Ghana is commissioned, even though they don't have the resources, they are bringing us together. We want you to really bring us together, and please tell your board that we want to sit on the table. Whatever they are doing, let civil society be on the table. Let us plan for the UN high-level meeting, and let us see how it will go. I don't know if Stop TB Partnership Board, Chief and Co will be funding them, because for us, they asked us to put it in our budget. And so whatever it is, we will let you know. Let us see Ghana as one country. Let us see ourselves as one people. Let us work together to achieve the goal of TB, Stop TB, and TB in Ghana. Thank you very much.
When we are all building one team. So I agree with that. This is here. So maybe one of the feedbacks that his representative will have to let him have is that this is what all the partners are saying. He has a role to play, especially as a member of the Stop TB Partnership Board. The founding fathers include the the NTP, and they knew that the program manager being a technical person and the runner of the business of TB in Ghana, once is part of the partnership, whatever is needed to be discussed to ensure civil society covers their space and play their appropriate role to advocate for even resources for the government. I mean, we were in parliament with him last year, and I remember, I wish he's here for us to brief you. And it was difficult for government to mention the challenges of it, because I realized when the chairman of the committees, you are from where? He said, you are from government. That one alone,
He cannot speak.
That one alone threw him off. And we have to come in to do what he had to do. So, you see? So, NTP's participation in our meetings and in our board is to make sure that enough appropriate, accurate information is given as data for us to be able to use to drive. So if we, the CSO partners, are speaking on some issues, just in case a media person or anybody want to cross-check the fact from where, the NTP, they will say yes, what they are saying is true.
My suggestion would be,
that's all.
Yeah, to lead the delegation. No, let's not, please. My suggestion would be to lead the delegation, of high-profile Stop TB Partnership members to the NTP. if he's able to tell you that there's a problem, so let's go and understand what the problem is and explain it. But in terms of participation, NTP manager is just one person. You cannot be in every meeting. So he has to delegate, and especially in areas where they have somebody who is a focal person in that area. So I wouldn't want to fault him in this meeting because he has a representation. Yeah. So, but I wanted to add something to Cici's comment. She made a very important intervention, and I want to let you know that September is not like in 20 years. It's not like in 2030. September is just around the corner. And we also have the civil society here, which will happen in April or May. So my suggestion would be, if you want to plan, let's start planning like yesterday, not even like today. Let's start planning like yesterday. If we agree, because planning is not by language, it needs coordination. If we agree, stop the partnership with the umbrella NGO, organize the network for networks, NGOs. Let's hand over the coordination to them. Let them start quickly now and draw a roadmap, a draft roadmap. We can all contribute to it. Let's know where we are and where we want to be. If we have that roadmap, I can assure you that you have people within the partnership who are willing to even take you to the highest leadership. But unless you're organized in a form that it will not show that you are just taking people who are not really think tanks, but people who understand what the kind of advocacy we are going to do at that highest level. We can go to that highest level. Because it's like, let's focus on the country first. Let's not think about the global. Let's focus on how we bring in some of the MPs, like the Parliamentary Select Committee, yes. If he's not able to secure funding through the government to attend, we can provide such resources to allow to make him to attend. And having his passport as part of the people to travel, we can also bring in other NGOs, as part of that listen. But we need to understand, first of all, we have been proactive in making sure that we tell the challenge facility recipients to budget for their attendance. But we also have other NGOs who don't have resources to attend. So that's why if we start planning early enough, let's see what people who are able to secure resources, people who don't have the resources. We can see how many are there, how we can cover that area. Even ACT also have some resources to cover some people. Let's see how we can cover that. And in the earliest form, to also start planning about the visas, because I know some of you don't have visas now. Maybe your visas are expired because of the COVID situation. So we need to start early, because even the most important one is not only the September one. The civil state hearing sets a lot of discussion rolling. So we need to be there in our numbers so that we can influence the priorities that is coming from there. So that's so let's start the planning now. Draw a roadmap for us. Let's contribute to the roadmap. We can also provide some resources to be able to help you to engage in that. Although I know that Top Partnership should also have some funding around the HLM as well. So that's been my contribution. So thank you, Cecilia, for raising that.
Maybe just to add that we can link up with other Stop TV partnership in other countries.
Exactly.
And find out what they are doing.
Yeah.
And then you just work into it so that we become stronger voice where it needs to be. And also get all the very advocacy moments for TB. And then we also plan and become very visible in those areas. The UN high-level engagement continues, and then maybe we share on our platform so that a lot of people can get into it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the good news is that we have already agreed that we'll start meeting tomorrow in the evening. So work begins tomorrow in the evening. Let's hope that.
And create a WhatsApp. I mean, like a committee that that can engage well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can use that apart from your brother, so that you can start, like on real time having discussions.
Okay.
You see, another thing is that what happens is that whenever we have meetings, we don't come out with communique. These things are very key. The communique actually is what makes the government sector, also the police sector, sit up as well. Because you make your comments, you state the facts, address issues that are on the table, and also offer, because it's not only raising the problems, offer solutions. And solutions should be solutions that we can do, like together, not in something that we want to do alone. It has to be aligned with the NSP, the plan, together. So I think it's something that we need to be doing, because such communication, when it comes out, the program will know that yes, something is really happening. So I don't want to go into details about discussing the program, but I think you can communicate to the manager that
we'll try to meet him because this is not, I think it's not an issue of faulting him, but the recognition by all of us that he has a key role to play.
I really want to play before of us. I'm having a little bit of a cough. I'm not too sure whether it's TB or not. After this meeting, I'll go and do the test, but please forgive me if you hear me coughing, please. All right, so want to talk about the progress that as a program or as a country we have made towards achieving the targets of the UN high-level meeting. All right, so I don't want to belabor this point. We all know what those targets are. And what I want to mention here is that as a program in our NSP, National Strategic Plan, we ensure that we incorporated all the targets for the UN high-level meeting in our NSP. This next slide. The goal of the NTP is to reduce the TB incidence by 25% actually, from 148 in 2018 to 111 per 100,000 population by 2025. Currently, per the World Health WHO report, Global Report 2021, the incidence for Ghana is now 136 per 100,000 population. So this is one of our key objectives. We also want to reduce by 35% the 2018 TB mortality rate, a baseline of 52 deaths per 100,000 population by 2025. I remember when Jerry was speaking, he mentioned that at the end of this meeting, 4 people are going to die from TB, and this is very key to the program, and that is what we want to pursue, and also to reduce the proportion of TB-affected families who suffer catastrophic cost due to TB from 64%, the baseline of 2016, to 0% in 2025. Please, let's. Okay, so these were the targets for Ghana. And let's look at 2022. TB diagnosis and treatment targets. We are expected to diagnose about 30,000 TB cases. This is drug-susceptible TB. And then when you look at MDR TB, you have a target of 792. Okay? And then the number of people to be enrolled on TBT, TBT, that is TB preventive therapy. This morning, when Chief was talking, he said that his main agenda is to push for a vaccine for TB and to form part of the prevention aspect. We are looking at enrolling about 38,000 people on TBT. That's for 2022. Please, let's move on. So what were the interventions that we need to do to ensure that we are meeting these targets? Remember that the key interventions of the program plus the efforts that all of us seated in this room will put together will help us to achieve the targets that I have mentioned earlier. So one key intervention is the sputum sample transportation, just to ensure that we are moving samples, diagnosing people, and putting them on treatment early so that we can break the risk of transmitting the disease from one person to the other. Contact investigation, those clients who have been put on TB treatment, definitely they were coming from a family, they had a family, they have people they were living with before they came to the facility to be diagnosed of TB. Those, they are close contacts. We have to also screen them and ensure that we rule out TB. Guideline development, so many things have changed and we need to incorporate all the new things that we have in the system. We need to incorporate that into our guidelines and training manual. So it's a key intervention, supportive supervision. When you are doing an activity and you don't supervise, you don't monitor, I mean, it's as good as not starting the intervention at all. So we need to monitor and ensure that things are going according to national guidelines and according to plan. Training and capacity building, which is ongoing, introducing new diagnostic tools, introducing child-friendly medicine. At a point in time, the medicines that we have for the pediatrics, some time ago, we're breaking them because they were not friendly to the children, and we want to ensure that that doesn't happen. And then review meetings, collaboration with implementers like all of us here, seated here, and then screening in special risk groups, that is the mining areas, prisons, and people living with HIV. These are active screening interventions that we are conducting to ensure that we are picking up more cases. All right, so the NFM 3 targets had to be adjusted to reflect whatever we are doing in line with the UN high-level meeting targets. So that brings our number of diagnoses to 30,947 for 2022, and then we cannot see the others. I don't want to, let's move on and look at the progress that we have made so far. So, as far as the UN high-level meeting targets are concerned, how far have we come as a country? So we are looking at 2018 to 2022 when it comes to TB case detection. Currently, we had a target of 32,819 for 2022, but we did 16,254. It tells us that there is a challenge. Like I mentioned earlier on, the TB burden is quite high, and as a program, we cannot do it all by ourselves. There are certain places that we cannot go. So we have a target of 32,819, and we achieved 16,254. 16,000. So we have a long way to go. A long way to go. That is why we need each and every one of us seated here to advocate, to educate the public, to push as much as we can so that we can pick up these cases that are out there. Sometimes we even wonder whether the cases are there. We even wonder whether they are there. But the WHO estimates these cases are there and we need to find them. That is the challenge. Okay, so this one is for drug susceptible TB. Let's look at MDR TB. All right, so over the period from 2018 to 2022, where are we when it comes to MDR TB? When it comes to MDR TB, you can see that from 2018, we had a target of 143, but we pushed so much to get about 235. Then 2019, 226, and we achieved 266. Then the challenge set in from 2020, and we all know that was when COVID was COVID was in place. And so we had a target of 510, and then we were able to do 210. And he continued that. We had a target of 426 for 2020. Sorry, for 2022. We are doing around 192. We believe that we can do better. We believe that if we push ourselves and get all the necessary support and all the necessary resources that we are all talking about here, we should be able to meet these targets. Please, next slide. All right, when it comes to TB preventive therapy, I don't have the full data for 2022, so I will not be able to speak to the 2022 data, but this is how the picture looks like. In 2021, we had a target to enroll 35,610 people on TPT, but we did a little below 8,000, almost 8,000, if I may put it that way. And that also clearly tells us that, guys, there's so much out there that we need to do. Getting the medication in country. You know, most of the challenge we have when it comes to TPT implementation is the uptake of the medicine. Somebody who thinks that I am not sick, why are you asking me to take medication? Even all of us seated in this room, our malaria course, how many of us are able to, even you that you have been confirmed that you have malaria, how many of us are able to finish the course? And this is somebody who is very well, very okay, just that he has some kind of contact with somebody who has TB. And you are saying that you also need to be on this prophylaxis so that you'll be protected in a way from having the disease. And the person says, no, I won't take it. You know, so that is the challenge that we have. But that is where we need more hands. That's where we need a lot of collaboration, you know, so that we can continue pushing the education, doing a lot of advocacy in that line, educating the general public about the importance of this. And I believe that with that support, we should be able to overachieving these targets. Please, let's move on. So this is TPT, TB preventive therapy amongst TB contacts and that of people living with HIV. For 2022, for contacts who are under 5 years, we were able to identify 953, and then 5 years and above, 16,321. For 2022, I don't have, like I mentioned earlier, I don't have the full year data, so I'll not be able to speak to how many of them we've been able to enroll on TPT. But you can see from 1,415, 3,410, 7,300, you can see the progress that is being made in enrolling people living with HIV and that of TB contacts on TPT. We are having a little challenge with the display. Moved away from that, and now we are using the Gene Expert. But you ask yourself, how many of our diagnostic centers have access to this Gene Expert? We don't have it everywhere. So it is a gap that as a program we've identified. Also a challenge of access to on-site. Okay, it speaks to the first point as well. Then low OPD screening. This gap that we have identified, currently there's a consultant that is supporting us to look at this very one, the low OPD screening. And as a program, the introduction of the TB preventive therapy, we believe that we introduced it late, which is contributing to, we believe is contributing to the low uptake of the medicines. underfunding of our NSP. This one, I was very glad when it was mentioned right in this room. We've also identified it as a challenge. And then when it comes to ACSM, unfortunately, as a program, under the current grant, we don't have any budget. We don't have any budget for ACSM, and it's a challenge. So we want to, once again, partner with all of us here, collaborate so that all these activities that I have mentioned earlier on, if we are doing all this and it is not out there, people don't know about what you are doing, they are not going to respond, or they are not going to go to the facilities when they don't know about whatever you are doing. You don't have people coming to the OPD for you to screen them and all that. Underfunding of TB HIV collaborative activities. Stigma, we are having, it's amazing that there is still a challenge of stigma when it comes to TB. And then lack of implementing partners in Ghana. And this one, we know that as a program, TB program, our only funding source is Global Fund. And it's really, really a challenge. Donors are having, there's donor fatigue, if I may put it that way. And so when Anti-CC also responded and said that it's about time that we try to galvanize some local support, donors from locally, so that we can support the TB agenda. All right. So what are the next steps? What do we hope to achieve with collaboration with all of us seated here? We are saying that we wish to secure and sustain a high-level political commitment through more advocacy and lobbying. At this point, I'm very glad that we have all agreed to it and we have mentioned it. We also seek to secure increased financing for TB from both domestic and then donor funding. All these other interventions that we plan to implement, we want to push and ensure that it is done. And we also want to project our needs together. And it's also another solid point that has been mentioned right in this room, that it's not about the divide and rule strategy, but rather we should project our needs, we should come together, and we are stronger when we are together than going single. And as I conclude, I want to say that yes, we can. With the needed support, with the needed collaboration, with the needed agreement together, we should be able to end TB by 2030. And also want to announce to all of us that World TB Day is coming on this year. We all know 24th March. Let us all offer our needed support to the program so that we can achieve all these targets that we have to achieve from the UN high-level meeting. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mango D. One more time, let's do it for him, please.
Stanley, for the presentation. I just want to talk about the World TB 2023, and I'll be happy if Stop TB, NTP will be coordinating all the activities. And so it's also over to you to send mails to all partners to share their activities with you so that it will be on your calendar. And then we work together. I still think that moving together is very important. And then we can also rely on your technical support where they need be. So maybe by the end of this week, we want to see a mail from you. Then you talk about TPT among persons living with HIV, I mean general. But my interest is so much on persons living with HIV. How are you partnering NAPLAS in this area? Because they are the people driving persons living with HIV. And I know that we can achieve a lot if we really work through that structure that has the network and people at different levels, and also reach out to them in your regions so that they can all benefit from this if they have the exposure. I'm looking at more partnership with other structures that can help us achieve that, since that is one of the goals for TB. Thank you.
The cost of finding one TB case is around $350. I don't know, I mean, if that figure is really what it is and still what it is now. And I'm asking this because just like Chief Austin made us know in his presentation, that sometimes we are giving funds to do work worth 50,000 Ghana cedis, but we're giving just 5,000 cedis and then we do it. I'm really wondering, in Ghana here, have you done any study to establish the cost of finding one TB case? And if so, the resources that are made available to us, how does that commensurate with that cost? Thank you.
For the inputs, and then the question about how we are partnering NAPLAS. I know we work together with the National AIDS Control Program when it comes to TBT implementation, but personally, I will have to make a little more inquiry as to whether the NACP are also in touch with NAPLAS when it comes to this particular intervention. I'll make a personal follow-up of that, and then I believe that is a very, very good platform that when we explore, we should be able to be enrolling more people on TPT. So it is something that I will take it up. And sir, please, yes, there's been a patient cost survey that was done, and somewhere in 2018. Okay. Yes, and it even showed that it is more than the $350 that you mentioned about. Currently, the support that we are having is not able to take care of when you talk about drug susceptible TB patients. The support that we have for TB patients is for the MDR cases, those who are MDR TB patients. Now, some time ago, there used to be something that we all know as the enablers package. Currently, it has been taken out when it comes to drug susceptible TB. Now, the support we have, like I mentioned, for MDR TB patients is to take care of their other laboratory investigations that they have to do apart from the TB, the one for TB. Somebody will have kidney issue, liver function test, and all those things. It is to take care of that, and then to take care of also their daily transportation if they have to come to the health facility, and something little for their feeding. I would say that it is more than enough, because it is actually not enough to take care of the MDR TB patient. There are other drug susceptible TB cases who are in support, who are in need of support. Sure. Just the drug susceptible TB patient, but like I mentioned, that other aspect of supporting them is not there. At least what we've been able to secure from Global Fund is to get them this fortified blended food, which is given to them anytime they are coming for their reviews and all that. So, like I said, it's taking care of TB patients, or it is more expensive, more than the $350 to take care of one TB patient.
Okay, so the clarification is that I'm not even talking about the cost of treatment. Okay. I'm not talking about the cost of finding. Yes, the cost of finding one case. how much does it cost to find one case in the community? In terms of how much transportation the person has to use, you know, which other logistics will be necessary for the case finder, and all of these things. Has there been some costing around that?
Yes. So like the patient cost survey that I mentioned, I mean, there is a costing aspect of that one. I will have to get you the figure, the exact amount, but yes, something has been done right from diagnosis all the way to treatment, and even which includes sometimes somebody will have to, if he is a person who works, he will have to stop working so that he can take his treatment. The costing all that was properly done. I will look for the exact amount and
I'll
share.
help you by looking at it from the community analysis, I mean, cost analysis we did. So then, yes, it is true that there was the issue of, I think it was even $500 at the beginning. It was actually coming out of TB Reach grants of the Stop TB Partnership, Geneva. So then, at the time, they expected that every invested $500 should find one TB case at the community level. Excuse me. So, and that was reviewed to 350 by 2016, 2017. We were operating with 350 because more effective strategies and diagnostic tools were coming up. So then the microscopy was no longer the issue. When it was microscopy, then you were spending more to find one case. So when we did our analysis in 2017, that was when my leadership came into place. I think me and Honorable Alfred did that analysis. We found that our NGOs were using an average of $250 to find one case. Okay, so that is by Stop TB Partnership what was happening at the time. NFM3, of course, we haven't done that analysis yet. At the end of, maybe when we have data coming from complete data for 2021 and 2022, we should do that analysis when we are doing our midterm report. So we can tell that this is a total cost of, this is a total grant that went into communities and the Stop TB Partnership. This is the number of cases we find. So we can do the cost benefit analysis to be able to tell how much we are finding one positive case, and even how much we are spending to screen each community case. So by the end of NFM2, we were spending $250 per case.
Okay. So how then related are these figures to the targets which are given to Stop TB NGOs?
So what happened was that what we were using this as our target setting baseline, or how would I put it? We were telling NTP, we were telling Global Fund, look, forget about the strategies we use. Let's concentrate on putting community people to work by telling them, based on our efficiency over the year, we are spending this amount of money. So if you allocate to us maybe $1 million, you should expect this number of cases from us. Okay, that is how we approached the table of the Global Fund. And they refused it. They said we can't use the investment portfolio to determine the cases. So we should rather be using, then the first thing they did was to go into population analysis. So at a point in time, the NTP, all of us have to go down to determine if 97 NGOs, we are talking about how many communities over the 3 years, with every NGO is going to go for 20 communities at the district level, multiplied by that number, and then we have to begin to look at population analysis of all those. By the time they were done using population to determine how many cases we should find, it was so small. And so they realized that no, if we are grabbing about $2 million and we want to set a target, and what we are finding is going to be so small based on the the system they were using to to allocate to set the target. Then they stopped that also and said, okay, let's go into strategic approach to setting the case. Then the teams now, Chuck NTP met at this point without us virtually, and then they set the target, and then when they came back to review the target with us, it was also not acceptable. And then now NTP was also taking off, and then the PR was now becoming, it's like responsibility has come. How do we set cases? So now what happened was that they now did an analysis of the trends of case file. Each NGO was entitled to say 10 volunteers, and the 10 volunteers times the number of NGOs over the period 2020, 2019. They did the analysis and they could tell by that every month how many cases a volunteer was finding. So it was rather now evidence of work done in the past, in spite of how much was being used to do those work, in spite of what strategy may have been used in the past. So then it was just the data that informed the past data of case finding that informed the future. That is how we ended up in the current data.
Yeah, so maybe just to wrap up, I think as we all can see, it has not been helpful at all. It has not been helpful at all. So going into GC7, we need to present this kind of evidence so that when we are setting targets, we will know which realistic target to set. When we are also asking for resources, we will know which kind of resources to ask for, so that at the end of the day, it can match up.
Because that has been, let me not catch you, that has been the challenge. See, we've dragged this thing for so long.
Yeah.
You know I don't keep quiet on matters like this. Honorable, you are aware of all this. We had a situation where now at the end of the day, the target they gave us, if you use our baseline of using the cost-benefit analysis, we were going to be finding too many. I mean, that it means they were giving us probably about $100 to find one case. So how do you find it?
Yeah, that's it.
So then we did all we could do. At the point we called on Chuck, said, look, let's review this target using a different system, because then the performance is becoming pressure on us. Meanwhile, the money that is coming is so small.
Go through the overview again, or move straight to the. All right. So the first on the list of project activities is the inception meeting or the implementation meeting with NTP staff and stakeholders, which is what we are doing right now. And the next on the list of activities, the follow-up meeting with the leadership of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. So in the first part of the project, we were able to meet the committee in the Parliament of Ghana. We did that together with TV Voice Network, HFMG, where we presented the issues that we wanted the MPs to come together and talk about on the floor of Parliament. Some issues in the country. When they go to the table to do that, they can consider TV as high on the list. The next item on the list of project activities is launching a strategic engagement with the TV caucus in Ghana Parliament. So we still want to get the attention of the key people in the government of Ghana who can help us to actually put the issues of TB in the country on the forefront, so we can get the government resources that we need. Talk about match up or the global fund. What the global fund is, the government is supposed to match up. That has always been on the table, like Honorable Otin said. So we want to use this platform to get TB on the high political agenda. We believe that the TB caucus, once launched, they can help us with that. The next items are strategic engagement with speakers of Ghana Parliament, i.e. the speaker, the first speaker, and the second speaker. I know someone is thinking, hey, so we've already have, let's say, we have a foot in the door in the Parliament of Ghana. So we are going to be riding on that one step at a time, and we know that you will eventually get to the office of the Speaker, still with the same agenda, because we know these people are key government officials who can help us to put TB high on the political agenda. So the next item is a high-level meeting with the First Lady, that is Mrs. Rebecca Kufuado, on TB-related issues, including domestic funding. So we know that the First Lady is someone who is passionate about child health. So that is the angle that we'll be taking it from. We know that detecting TB in children is quite difficult because they are unable to bring out sputum. We know about the childhood mortality associated with TB and all that. We want to bring all that to the table of the First Lady, along with all the other challenges associated with the TB disease in the country, to the table of the First Lady, so she can also help us. And that will also create a doorway for us to eventually meet the big man himself. That is the President of the Republic of Ghana. That's the next item on the lineup of project activities. Now, when we get to the President, the main issue we're going to be talking about is the UNHLM targets, the targets that he signed on to with the help of NTP. We know where we've been able to get to, we know the gaps, and that is what we are going to be talking about with the President, to try and get his attention and also the resources needed to bridge those gaps. Hopefully at that meeting, I will also be able to take a selfie with him. Okay, moving on. The next item on the project outline of project activities is development and presentation of a paper on the state of TB for the manifesto development committees of all the political parties towards the 2024 presidential election. Now, we've talked about First Lady Akufo-Addo and all that. We know that they are in their pre-final year. Next year is their final year. So we don't want to leave it at that level. We want to take it up a notch to the potential president of the country. And the starting point of that is to meet the manifesto committees of the various opposition parties to try and get them to fix TB-associated issues into their manifestos, so that they can, usually when they read a manifesto, they adhere to 1, 2, 3 of them. Hopefully, we can get our TB issues into their manifestos, and by so doing, we can increase the level of attention and resources we receive from the government of Ghana to solve issues associated with TB in Ghana. The next item on the project outline activities is increased meaningful engagement of professional journalists in TB works through TB reporting, capacity building, TB code of conduct development for journalists. Now, we know and understand that the media, and for that matter journalists, are one of the major drivers of any agenda on a national level. Talk about elections, talk about any agenda you can think about it. The media and journalists are major stakeholders, so we want to ride or fly on their wings to help us in driving down the TB agenda, which is placing TB on the high political agenda. The next item is support the engagement of celebrities in TB works through the TB sensitization and testimonial promotion on TB awareness and advocacy-based initiatives. Now, for those of us who are familiar with Dopasi Foundation, it's an NGO in Pakistan who was able to innovatively use celebrities and key persons in their communities and country to actually drive the TB agenda, and they were very successful with it. So that is kind of something that we also want to do here. I mean, businesses use all manner of celebrities to do their marketing. Jackie Apia, Kaiser Apple, Majid Michel, Vitamok. All this. So we also, why not also use celebrities to market TB in quotes? So that is what we want to achieve with this particular project activity. The next one is strategic engagement with the to-be-elected flag bearer of the largest opposition party and his wife. I don't know, when I was doing this presentation, I just thought it is going to be Mahama, but then anything can happen. But let me. So the largest opposition party, we know the largest opposition party, but then again, anything can happen. But the science or the history says it's going to be Mahama, but then again, anything can happen. So the largest opposition party will engage them in the forthcoming 2024 presidential elections. So I mentioned that we're starting with the manifestos, the chairmen of the manifesto committee. So the next step is to move to the largest opposition party, still carrying the message of TB in the country to them. So they can even add it to their own political campaign. Because if I am a TB survivor or I'm a TB patient on treatment, and in your campaign you come and tell me, oh, you are going to get 500 gene expert machines to every facility, you are going to help us with, me, I'll vote for you. It makes sense, right? I'll vote for you. So that is what we want to achieve by going to the flag bearer of the largest opposition party. The next item on the list of project activities is mobilize support and engagement from members of parliament, journalists, private sectors, celebrities, CSOs, and TB-affected communities in TB-related advocacy events. So we have World TB Day, Val's Day, which is already passed, International Women's Day, etc. So on these key occasions, we'll be mobilizing government officials, MPs, journalists, private sector, celebrities, CSOs, all these people that we know have influence. Because me, the way I like Kwame Sefa-Kain, if Kwame Sefa-Kain comes to tell me that, oh, I have this thing, I'll buy it straight away. So if we can get someone like Kwame Sefa-Kain talking about TB-related issues at such occasions, we know for sure that we will galvanize the efforts that we are looking for. And I take 2-week-long TV, radio, and social media campaign as part of commemoration of World TB Day. So, still creating awareness, still trying to get information across to the government, still trying to educate. We will be doing series of TV interviews, radio interviews, in all the stations that we can get our hands into to put the agenda of TB across. The next item is media launch of World TB Day celebration activities. So yes, media launch, we will invite our various media houses, get the information together, and then put it out there as part of the commencement of the celebration of the World TB Day activities. National Community Deba on World TB Day. So yes, we'll pick a very good location, set up a Deba, have people come around, where we'll be doing a lot of education and screenings and all that, and we'll also have media houses there covering the events for us. The next is a targeted strategic engagement with the leadership of companies, that's media, mining, telecommunications, to solicit programming of CSR resources towards TB care. So if we go to one mining community in Prestia, for example, where they don't just do legal mining, but even illegal mining, small-scale mining, and we know that an environment where there's a lot of silica is a TB-prone area. So for example, if they don't even have a chips or the facility doesn't have a gene expert, we want to get such a mining company to say, look, your corporate social responsibility, why don't you get one gene expert for these people? Why don't you build a chips compound for them? Why don't you do something but more TB related to help those in that particular community? That's what we seek to achieve with this activity. The next activity is develop development of sustainability and fundraising strategy for the Stop TB partnership. So we decided to use this grant as an opportunity to develop this particular document, which we'll be using from time to time to raise funds domestically for TB issues in the country. Because someone said global fund is perpetual. Is that the right word? No. It will be there forever.
No.
That's what someone said. I won't mention his name, but that's what he said. But even Bible says everything shall pass away. So maybe global fund also pass away. If global fund passes away, what do? We need to come up with how we can fund TB interventions domestically. So that is what we seek to achieve with that. Help address as TB-associated issues in the country. So we'll be hosting a national dialogue with these people where we can present the issues to them and then get them to help us address them. Convene an online capacity building session of TB financing and investment among TB affected communities and CSOs working with TB and TB/HIV. So someone said we always don't need to give out fish, but we also need to teach people how to fish. So with this activity, we'll be putting together all our NGOs, our CSOs, everybody will come together and we'll have an expert help teaching us about capacity building, how to mobilize resources, how to write proposals, how to do fundraising. And we believe that with this activity, we can build the capacity of the grassroots to mobilize resources for TB interventions in the country. To convene, so strategic engagement with wealthy traditional leaders to solicit for their financial support for TB interventions in Ghana. So we know that a lot of our local chiefs, the district, the paramount chiefs, the sub-chiefs and all that, these are people who are quite wealthy guys. And they also have some corporate social responsibility, not just to their kingdoms or communities, but even to those around them. So as part of mobilizing efforts, domestic resources for TB interventions will be going to wealthy traditional leaders to solicit for their financial support for TB interventions in Ghana. Finalization of Stop TB strategic plan for 2023-2027. Yeah, so we also want to use this grant as an opportunity to have that document finalized so we can start running with it. And then the last on the list of project activities, participate in the Stop TB Partnership Coordination Summit. This is actually something that has already happened. That was the summit that our delegation attended in Thailand. That was last year, so this is something that was already happened. So that's the last on the item of project activities. Thank you very much.
It's a mouthful. To sit down with you and all that.
I was wondering where are they going to have the break?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So maybe that one probably just a statement that you get me from his desk. So it shouldn't be there. Their own comps can do it for you, and then they just give you. I mean, it should be an easy option. And exactly, I'm not sure if you can.
Before you see him.
Oh no, your grant is finished.
I am not. Then you go back and tell them we couldn't do it. The money finished on the way. So we couldn't get to the breakfast table.
Yeah, so yeah, so that.
But I think it's all the activities are okay.
Yeah.
By just looking at the timelines, I think it's a lot. It's a lot of activities, really. And I think some of them
will lead into others. So probably if you don't get one done, you probably will not be able to move to the next activity, the timelines and everything. So I think it's okay, but I need to just
Sure. I guess the most important thing here is I know all the grantees have advocacy by them.
yeah.
So then that is where we need to make sure that all the advocacy activities the grantees want to do should be tailored towards this.
So that you made our roadmap work easy.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, that put this, what you have done now into a roadmap already, in a Gantt chart. Then we look, that will become our skeletal, and then we start seeing compressing some, like I was saying, some of them on your own probably too much of a budget. Is it possible if it's more of a financial issue, like I was saying, we come together and do a collaboration, we do still that activity. Sure. Like we tried it the last time anyway, so it's not with the parliamentary one. So we can do that same format, but it needs to be in a more systematic way, and then so that we can say we are making ticks. Because advocacy is such a difficult work to do. You can't just go and stand there and get it done. So it probably will do. We probably will not get it, but it doesn't mean we have to renovate again, come back. You know, so we need to be very sure.
So I think he's also looking at the MAE framework. You had developed. Yes. I know you developed some MAE framework. Yes. Populating all the activities and what they are supposed to be achieving at the end of the day. Some are targeting fundraising, some are just targeting assurances from high levels, some are normal awareness creation meetings. So they are, and then
maybe the processes to go in there. There were a lot of it. If you remember the last time when we went to meet them, remember they told us that we were supposed to have brought something. Yes. So those type of things that the meetings we want to go and meet, but before that, there's a lot of underground things we need to do, prepare, make policy paper, briefs, discussion documents, because they are not experts. They are sitting there, they are busy doing other things. You say you want to meet you on what? You don't have anything to show you. So that's what I'm saying. It's a brilliant work. We just need to just look at how we will firm up all these little things, the processes, before the big, what you have put there, you want to see first lady. It's not that simple. I mean, maybe a whole 1 month of a backdoor, exactly, before that meeting itself takes place.
So these things can also be discussed we have already agreed we're going to create a platform of all the partners. So then these ones can also be going there for us to make sure that we are all involved in the planning process towards this. Because it's not supposed to be partnership work, it's work of all. Because this one is an advocacy grant, so it is meant for participation by all the partners. Just that all the partners have small budgets. Also,
we also have outlier things. The way you say you want to go and do your strategic plan, we also have some little, but of course the big agenda is the UN high level. So that one, we all have some resources locked down for it. So on that score, we all have to push. I mean, if you get the president to make a message, it belongs to all of us. We can all use it. So that's not a big deal. But how to get it done is the big challenge at hand. So we need to look at how we can get those processes through.
Yeah, okay. I think that all things are possible depending on how we start the initiative. So if you want to meet the president, then the planning and the letters and everything, if it is in 4 months' time, it should be delayed. Because if you wait closer to the president, you can't do it. And we must also make use of the social media platform. Stop TV partnership, your Twitter and your other LinkedIn and the rest. If you go there, the vice president is there, the president is there, or the first lady, second lady, or any other person is there. You see, when the 7th replenishing, when we went to that program in Rwanda, all the advocacy this thing now, I put the president attack me on his normal Twitter or the listen. So each day, this is a right somewhere on the CCM platform, and it goes to him. So he has knowledge of what is going to take place. So if the Minister of Health goes to him or any other person mention it back, he's aware of it. So it will not be a difficult situation.
But as we think that the president handles those things personally, so he doesn't.
No, but
he doesn't at all.
Yeah, but they update him.
But his ability can be update him on a daily basis.
social media is a marketplace.
Yeah.
So if you go there and you are allowed enough over a period, it becomes a topical matter, and probably you will take it to him. So, but I get what you are trying to say, both of you. It's not as if when you put it there, it goes to him. No. The message that has most traction is the one that they will collate and go and discuss with that. Oh, this looks like something that is still rolling. Can we do something about it? But if it's not still rolling, nobody has like 30,000 minutes coming. Who cares? You have to be ahead of the pack all the time.
Every week, some people are tweeting that we need a president in a particular meeting.
It's a whole different planning, like you are saying, organize, mobilize, grab maybe 10 people for this month. Let's bombard this thing for it, and then it becomes. He has no option than not to act. What is this thing that they keep acting about?
Most of the times, I think it's probably need to target the chief of staff. If you really want to meet the president, you need to find a way for chief of staff. You understand? Very open. It will be easy for me if you speak to the old man, he listens, speak to you. You understand? So probably need to also look at who is targeted in terms of getting. Then I think that we need to be able to more of like, I saw something on the media, journalists in media. Is there a way we can have a group, you know, like a group of media houses or journalists, basically for us to train them on TV, you know, activities and advocacy, so that they can probably, so we know we have a court of a certain media house where we can always rely on them. You understand? They will play a very critical role in terms of advocacy to the UN, maybe in TV, where TV, the activities that is coming up. We need to train. I think that's something we need to come together and train them and have a cohort of them. So I've seen that activity there. I think it's
I also have a question. Is their role not going to conflict with Parliamentary Select Committee on Health?
There's some set of the health.
Yes. So the same MPs in that caucus will come from that committee. That's what I just want to know.
No, the committee on health is a bigger one. So you get like a few of them to constantly interested. It's more of a passion. So you know when you're in Parliament, everybody is what they want. You want to health, but you are more tuned towards malaria, more to HIV. That's your passion. So it gets like it's not. Because honestly, that health committee, if you want to get engaged them, our money will finish again. So you need to just so you pick like 5 or 10 of them, and then it's like they will always make sure that
yes. So what I also know is the committee, they are coming from both sides. The So your caucus.
Both sides.
Both sides. No, so the chair will select. He will select. No, it has already been done.